you have the regressives saying, well, this is against international law, and international law says it's wrong. And this is, again, what I'm saying, one of those Western idols that has shown itself to be fundamentally lacking, morally lacking. International law. It has the idea of the rule of law in the international arena, certainly has its place, but it's not the end final discussion on morality, certainly from a Jewish perspective. We've been saying this for a while as it pertains to Israel and her wars against all her foes. But now we're seeing that international law is either silent or in some ways possibly they might be able to make a case it's not right for America to do this, but it's clearly not moral. And so the fact that they are basically, what we're seeing is how international law and the wokies who are championing it, they have basically, first of all, I'm not clear that it is against international law, but let's just say the people that try to weaponize it and say you can't do it, their basic moral notion is that, as the Gemara warns, being cruel to the kind to the cruel. And that is their whole approach, that they've confused kindness with passivity and indifference. And so they apply that to Israel as well. Oh, Israel's escalating right now. Well, escalation can actually be a de-escalation, because you're stopping someone who's trying to kill you from killing you, and you're stopping these security threats. And so the whole moral worldview is being exposed right now. And I don't know about you, but I'm finding that it's becoming clearer and clearer, and hopefully dawning on more and more people.
No doubt. No, I agree with you on that point for sure. But I think what's happening also is America has every right to secure its hemisphere. That's not a question. Especially when China, Russia, Iran have been actively involved in courting Venezuela for their benefits and their agendas. Right? I mean, so what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? That's the term. Like, if you can do it, why can't we do it, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference? I think America has every right to do it. I personally don't believe in international law. I think international law is a joke. We're not in a globalistic government, and this agenda with the UN and international law is ridiculous. It was ridiculous when it was applied for Netanyahu. I think that was nonsensical, and I think it's ridiculous in general. International law, let's forget. Now, U.S. law, if you have in U.S. law, if you have a rule that you can indict a person for bringing in drugs and selling drugs into America, yeah, go for it. You're not exempt from U.S. law if you're creating improper activity in the land of the U.S. or in any state. I personally believe in that, no doubt. So I think they're in the legal action of it. They're fully legitimate in what they're doing. What I'm concerned about, and this is my biggest concern, is the stability of Venezuela. I think that's going to be the biggest conflict and the biggest situation, right? And I think there's more to it than that. I think what people are not used to in America, and this is from working with civics a lot, and knowing about civics in the United States, the reality is most agencies in the American government are not proactive. They're actually reactive. This is the first time that you see in a global scale an American agency, which is the U.S. government led by Donald Trump, right? The U.S., not state governments, right? Where they are being proactive in taking down Venezuela. So not only did he, and Joe Rogan actually presented this, I believe, the stats of the overdose rate has seriously dropped since they've been taking this directly. So, in their hands, being proactive. So they like the overdose rate has completely staggeringly dropped. And in reality, what's happening is this proactiveness about Venezuela is actually good for America. And it's good for the Venezuelans, because the joke is all these liberals outside. And one guy showed in Instagram, he's like, how do they have all these signs already ready to go for these protests? It just happened the day before, and it was a January 1st weekend. How did they have these signs ready to go? And they're all equal in standard. Like, it's not like you went at home and you make these different type of signs and they look very odd from one another. They're systematically created and printed and set to go. So they're never gonna like it. And the biggest joke is the Venezuelans are happy, and we Americans in America are sad. I
I
mean,
know.
these liberals
I
are
know.
sad. It's ridiculous.
I'm not convinced that the whole regime change argument applies here in the same way that you could do it with an Islamic country, because I just think the culture is radically different. It's much more similar. You know, they're Christian. They're much more similar to the West. The values, the issues, the idea of having lots of civilians who are going to end up becoming suicide bombers and all these things. It's just not. It's a totally different story here, and so the whole calculation around regime change is very, very different.
No doubt. I agree with you 100%. There is no real regime change here.
Yeah.
And the reality is, I think the one who won the Peace Prize, what did she say? She said there is already a regime change. In what sense? That there was an election that was done, and he refused to adhere to that election.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So the worry of, well, they'll democratically elect another terrible government, that they just need to have a functioning rule of law.
Right. Or functioning people. They have to have functioning people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, this has been a great conversation. I appreciate this thing. We got to do this again. If you don't mind, maybe in the near future, in a couple of weeks from now. But yeah, very insightful what you said today. I agree with a lot of what you said. Like 99% almost, right? Like just a few points. Yeah, no, I agree with what you said. Listen, it's very intelligent what you're saying. And can you imagine if you and I bless you that you continue doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is really bringing simple, calm, intelligent ideology and ideas to people that they can maybe start thinking better. And it's very important. I always tell this to people, and I do messaging and marketing for a living. If you talk to people like a lawyer, you will lose them. You will lose them.
That was why I was so drawn by people like Glenn Beck and Dennis Prager, was because it wasn't just that they were giving across ideas, but they were able to capture people's hearts. They were able to be emotive, and that for me is I think that skill is such a valuable one.
That's a valuable that you, when you're talking, your emotions also resonate to the person watching you.
Yeah,
it's very important. And sometimes I feel some of them are not Candace, not Tucker. They're emotionless. They don't be emotion. You got. Don't be. Anyway, that's for another discussion. We definitely got to discuss that concept as well. How do we deliver our message as a Jewish community to the public back and actually gain their trust back? I think that's very important. Anyway, everybody, thank you for watching us, and keep on watching us.